to drink a cup of coffee. Yes, coffee is the thing I'd like to drink. Don't talk to me until I've had my coffee. If you talk to me, then in response I'll see.
Hi, my name is Matheus. I'm a senior electrical engineering student at New Jersey Institute of Technology, and for my final project, I decided to learn how to evaluate coffee. Understanding the quality and characteristics of different coffee will help us to get information about our taste preferences, and instead of drinking the same coffee over and over again, we will be able to choose the best coffee and make our coffee drinking experience more enjoyable. According to the book Coffee, A Comprehensive Guide to the Bean, the Beverage and the Industry by Robert Thurston, coffee quality can be assessed using two general methods, cupping and tasting. While cupping is the formal way of assessing coffee quality based on consistent methodologies, coffee tasting is the simplest form of assessment. It follows no specific protocol and gives us freedom in evaluating coffee. It's really about drinking coffee and enjoying the flavor profiles. In addition to that, it's important to keep in mind that cupping is a way to evaluate coffee without influence of brewing methods or filters. It uses only coffee and water. And tasting is a procedure to evaluate a coffee, which is a result of multiple variables such as brewing methods and filters. Also, it's important to know that cupping allows green coffee buyers to assess the flavor profiles of coffees before buying, and tasting help us to analyze the profile and intensity of the final brew. It allows us to improve the brewing method and the stored conditions of beans. Finally, the greatest advantage of cupping over tasting is how much it removes tasters from the emotional experience of drinking coffee and puts them in a situation used solely for evaluation. In conclusion, coffee cupping and tasting differs mainly in their purpose, time of evaluating, and procedures. According to the book The Craft and Science of Coffee by Brita Former, the Specialty Coffee Association cupping form is the global standard for cupping coffee. However, that doesn't mean that it's the only form used for cupping. The SCA form is probably the most famous coffee cupping form. This form assesses coffee quality based on different categories, such as flavor, acidity, body, and aroma. In the right top of this form, there is a quality scale. It changes from good to very good, excellent, and outstanding. If you're not sure if you think the coffee is good or very good, there's a scale between that, and you can always take that. The final score serves as a point of reference for price negotiations. It can also be used to track the development of a certain coffee over time, and the cupping score also serves to guide the potential customer and to point out specific quality. Here we have the Coffee Taster's Flavor Wheel, which is a guide used by coffee professionals to evaluate the flavors and aromas present in coffee. By using a flavor wheel, tasters can communicate better about the characteristics of different coffee. The wheel's design encourages the tasters to start at the center and work outward. The most general taste descriptors are near the center, and they get more specific as the tiers work outward. Coffee cupping is not limited only to those working in a professional environment, but it's perfectly applicable to you. In the end, it's all about enjoying and discovering the flavors of coffee. Here, we're gonna learn how to cup at home. First, you're gonna wait coffee, and then you're gonna grind it. After that, put the ground coffee into the bowl, and start the timer and pour some water. After 4 minutes, break the crust of ground coffee, stir the crust with the spoon 3 times, and assess the aroma. Using 2 spoons, remove the remaining ground coffee by skimming off the foam on the top, and then wait 10 minutes to slurp. You want to slurp coffee quickly enough so it spreads all over your tongue, and in that way your tongue can fully register the taste sensation. After that, you go through again and evaluate all samples. Remember to rinse the spoon after breaking the crust in each bowl to avoid contamination. To learn how to evaluate coffee, I went in 3 places in New York City. I went to Counterculture Coffee, Rackhad Chocolate, and Starbucks Reserve Roastery. Counterculture Coffee was founded in 1995. Instead of having coffee shops, they have 13 training centers across the country. Their training centers provide education in the fundamentals of preparing and serving coffee. Every Friday at 10 a.m., people stop and taste coffee together at their training centers. They offer free training for all coffee lovers, and they feature different coffee each week. They also guide people through the tasting and share details about where the coffee comes from. Okay, so before watching the tasting experience, I want to share this research where we can see that brewing methods play a crucial role in determining the overall quality and taste of coffee. This study highlights that different extraction methods produce coffee beverages with different quality and quantitative characteristics starting from the same raw material.
Show of hands, whose first time is it here? Who's never been to a tasting at 10 before? Nice. Cool, awesome, welcome. We are super duper excited to have new folks join us, and welcome back for those of you who are regulars or who have been here in general once or twice before. We are going to be drinking a decent amount of coffee today, and today
it's a very special day. It's our 29th anniversary or / birthday of being around.
Who has never heard of counterculture coffee before coming today? Never heard of counterculture coffee, never heard.
That's okay.
That makes a lot of sense. Have you heard of, let's see, Starbucks? Yeah?
You're gonna Stumptown?
Intelligentsia? Bacolom. Well, all of these other roasters are, well, we do similar things. We're all specialty coffee roasters. And so what our colleagues, or rather peers in the industry are doing is they have their own coffee shops in addition to roasting coffee. But what we do at Counterculture is a little bit different. We roast specialty coffee, but instead of having our own coffee shops, we have training centers like this in 13 cities across the country.
Accessibility is also a huge thing. They did a lot of tastings, which is the inspiration for the tasting at 10 today. They used to host these things called cuppings, which is usually in the coffee industry a formal way of tasting coffee, but they wanted to make sure that everybody can taste coffee, because it's not just the professionals that get to enjoy themselves, it's us as well.
We started doing public tastings every Friday morning at 10 o'clock back in 2002. So we had a couple of years of growth in business before opening our doors up for these public events, and the thing about cuppings is that these were not public endeavors before. So if you've never heard of a cupping, that's totally okay, because it's primarily a coffee industry practice. It's a way to evaluate coffee flavor without the influence of a brewing method. So right now we're all tasting some delicious filter coffee that was brewed on a machine over there. And as we began to grow, it became more difficult to host cuppings, because basically that practice is you take a spoon, you get up in a line, and you slurp coffee out of a bowl. And when you have, like 50 people lining up to slurp coffee out of a bowl with a spoon, that can get a little rambunctious.
We started something about almost 2 years ago, called the Bloom Fund.
The Bloom Fund also didn't just come out of thin air. So to kind of backtrack a little bit, every single pound of coffee that we sell throughout the course of the year, that is January to December, we allocate not just 1 penny, but 2 pennies, 2 cents, or 2 cents matters when you buy counterculture coffee, to 2 different sustainability funds. We have the Seeds Fund, which is something we've been doing since, I believe, 2009. And that's where 1 penny per pound plus $1 per pound per iridescent, which is our winter release, goes into a fund where our producing partners have the opportunity to apply for sustainability grants. Now, sustainability is not a shoe size. It's not about shoes. It's not a one size fits all solution. Sustainability is, sustaining something means that you can repeat it over time. And nobody knows what they need more than themselves. So by having these grants and opening them up to our producing partners, we're not prescribing them, hey, you need to do this thing because we think it's what's best for you, because we know best. We don't know best. We don't live in those places. So this is an opportunity for folks to really make the most out of what they need.
Did you just experience an earthquake? Yes. 29th birthday, y'all.
Name's Jacob Felix, regional educator for the New York region with Counterculture Coffee. Counterculture Coffee has been around for 29 years. This is our anniversary. We started out in Durham, North Carolina. We have 2 founders, Brett Smith and Fred Hauk. Brett Smith is still the CEO of the company. Fred Hauk is no longer with us. Sadly passed away a long time.
Okay. Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit about the name of your company, this company?
Yeah, so Counterculture Coffee, the inspiration for the name Counterculture is we are the culture of counters. So when you meet a barista at the counter, it's all about that culture and hospitality behind why we do what we do. We brew coffee because we want to serve you coffee and have you enjoy it. So we want to enjoy you enjoying it. That's like the whole idea. So types of coffee that we have, what you learn when you start learning about coffee is that there are so many different types of coffee. So it's not types of coffee, it's varieties of coffee. And then after that, it's where they come from. How the general public talks about coffee, though, is from origin. So you won't be talking too much about varieties until you start diving into where it comes from. So you usually only hear, this coffee came from this place in this country. So like today, we did perennial. That came from 2 different countries, Peru and Colombia.
Thank you so much, Jake. I really appreciate and thanks for having me here today.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for coming on. Yeah, nice meeting you.
The next day, I went to Raka Chocolate, which is located in Brooklyn. I booked a class in this factory called Coffee Cupping and Chocolate Pairing, and it costed $65.
Alright, so welcome everyone to this chocolate and coffee pairing class. But rather than a class, I'm going to call it more of an experience. It's going to be an experience when it comes to the senses. It's all about the smell, it's all about the taste, and about putting those senses to the test. Because I won't be revealing any information about what's going on until the very end. I mean, I'm going to explain what's going on, of course, but I'm going to explain or reveal all the information towards the very end of the class. So welcome one more time. So, well, we are Raka, we're an unroasted, single origin, all vegan, gluten-free bean-to-bar chocolate company. We've been around for the past 12 years, running on 13 now, the whole time here at Red Hook, Brooklyn. Now, let me go back to everything that I just mentioned before. I did mention on roasted. So what's the deal with that? When it comes to the whole chocolate production, cacao beans are roasted. Let's think in terms of like coffee beans, right? Coffee beans are roasted. The same principle is going to apply to cacao beans. They're going to be roasted.
We use a descriptive method to assess coffee quality. Each person may perceive different tastes and aromas based on their own personal experiences. However, it's important to remember that there are specific and objective characteristics that define each coffee. In the end, I asked them what would be the best way to cleanse our palate. Cleansing our palate between coffee tasting is essential to ensure accurate assessments of different coffee flavors. So here in this research, we can see that for coffee, all but only 2 of palate cleanses, spring water and warm water, were 100 efficient. So only spring water and warm water were not 100 efficient. And also here, we can also see that table water crackers were the only palate cleanser that was efficient for all 7 food types. This other research, we have this graphic where we can see that the perceived bitterness at all levels of caffeine was depressed when rinsing with sparkling water.
We wanted to do a cleansing, right? So it has to be totally clean. Some people recommend eating some pieces of bread to totally absorb whatever you have inside your palate before whatever you were eating before. Also drinking plenty of water. That's one.
Okay.
Also, yeah, sparkling water will help.
Sparkling water.
Yeah.
Sparkling water.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Not,
And then-
why not natural water?
Oh, there's something about the way that the bubbles kind of dance on your tongue that like take away some of the flavor.
Oh. The environment in which we assess coffee plays an important role in shaping our perception of its taste and quality. Factors such as temperature, noise levels, color, and lighting can influence our sensory experience and impact how we evaluate coffee. So in this research, they suggest that consumers tend to be less sensitive to specific sensory under louder noise, and they are also less willing to pay for their coffee. In addition to that, you should not wear strong fragrances, talk loud, and touch the coffee grounds. Take your time and do not rush through tasting each coffee. Also, don't share cups and utensils to keep the flavors pure.
When you walk into a room that you're working with chocolate, fragrances, like anything or like anything strong, it's gonna just throw you off. So you don't want that going on. It's definitely something that is not allowed actually when it comes to production. We do not allow that because it kind of like blends with the actual aroma that you have going on, and you don't want that to happen. So yeah, and it's also going to have different kind of properties that are going to, in one way or another, affect production. So we do not allow that.
So after you saying that, probably you can also say that material like contamination.
We can keep going, right?
Yeah.
I can jump into pathogens. I can jump into physical. I can jump into chemical risks. So that's a different talk. But yeah, there's all kinds of things that will affect. Yeah.
After visiting the chocolate factory, I went with my sister to the Starbucks Reserve Roastery located in New York. There's only 6 Starbucks roasteries, one in Chicago, one in Milan, one in New York City, one in Seattle, one in Shanghai, and one in Tokyo. These roasteries offer exotic coffees that are not available at regular Starbucks stores.
Hi. I'm having some of what I'm offering. Whiskey barrel aged coffee. Sniff it. It smells good, right? So Zach over there is loading green coffee. Every day we get a couple hundred pounds, a couple thousand pounds of green coffee from all over the world. 32 different growing regions that we kind of source from, which is, not just necessarily a country, but an entire region. We get a radical project from everywhere. We'll get that, put it into that copper tip. There's a magnet in there that will clean off the coffee, make sure there's no nails or anything in there, because after all, it's an agricultural product. The green goes up, takes a lap around the building, we'll end up with one of our green silos. 3 silos there, 6 over there. The 3 black ones on that side and the 3 black ones on this side are working in tandem with this roasting drum. So this has 6 different silos that it can pull components for a blend. You do a 3 coffee blend, or maybe you just have to roast a lot of a single origin. Finally, in this research, I learned that to evaluate coffee, we should be free from distractions, and that the environment plays a huge role in our perception. For example, in both places, Raka Chocolate Factory and the counterculture culture, they didn't play the song. It was like a more neutral environment. However, for the Starbucks roastery, it was crowded. They were playing songs, and probably I would have a hard time to evaluate coffee. I was not able to take the tasting experience in Starbucks, but probably it would affect drastically my assessment.
I'll have a decaf coffee.
I'll have a decaf espresso.
I'll have a double decaf cappuccino?
Do you have any decaffeinated coffee ice cream?
I'll have a half double decaffeinated half cap with a twist of lemon.
I'll have a twist of lemon.
I'll have a twist of lemon. I'll have a twist of lemon, please.
I'll have a twist of lemon.
For a package of sunshine and ravioli, macaroni, if you want the thing you love.
You did it! Congratulations! World's best cup of coffee. Great job, everybody. It's great to meet you. Hi.
Now come over here, boy. Sam.